Good evening. My name is Adam Starler, and tonight I will be presenting to you what is listening. If you will look to slide 2 of the outline of my presentation, it kind of goes over of what I'm going to be discussing in the next couple of minutes. See, you got to understand, to me, the word listen has been abused and repeatedly. It's been abused and repeated several times in our culture, in our nature. We think that we know how to listen. But matter of fact, over the last 8 weeks in this course, I've learned what effective communication is. And if you will, look to slide 3, it gives the communication breakdown. It says listening is 40%, that talking is 35%, 16% is reading, and 9% is writing. All this to be said that it is vital for us to listen. So for the next couple of minutes, I just want to go over it and discuss with you the importance of listening and how I'm making it a personal life goal of mine, and what I'm going to be doing to make this happen. See, to become a better listener, it will help me enlarge my conversations and it will create healthy relationships. But unfortunately, in my life, listening has not always been the best of my ability due to certain barriers. And so, if you look at slide 4, these barriers will be presented to you right in front of you. These barriers are trying to fix the problem, asking the wrong question, not decoding the meaning, and speak before thinking. All of these barriers mentioned above are unhealthy and wouldn't be an issue if I would just begin to better listen. Now, for me to achieve this goal of better listening, there has to be 3 aspects. These 3 aspects are: number 1, first of all, I have to define what exactly is listening. Number 2, I have to know the barriers of poor listening, which we just looked at, but I'm going to go more in depth and in detail of what these are. And then I have to have an action plan to become a better listener. Alright, so if you look at your slide, on slide 6, it defines of what listening is by Burley and Adey and Allen, and I want to read this verbatim to you of what their definition is. It says, listening is taking in information from speakers, other people, or ourselves while remaining non-judgmental and empathetic. B, acknowledging the talker in a way that invites the communication to continue. And C, providing limited but encouraging input to the talker's response, carrying the person's idea one step forward. Now see, here's the thing. If you go with me to slide 7, I believe these are the benefits of becoming a better listener. Number 1, I would have stronger relationships. They would grow. They would be healthier. And number 3, I would understand others better. What I mean by that is a lot of times I continue to talk and talk and talk and talk and kind of overthrow the conversation. I have no idea what the other person is actually talking about because I'm not really listening. Hence, with that said, Stewart, from the book that he wrote, Bridges Not Walls, you have to have a desire of compassion. You have to have this desire to want to listen more. And with this being said, Stewart goes on to tell us, I want to read this, that if someone applies this in their life, then they would become a mindful listener, which would expand, keyword, conversations and create healthy living. If there's anything that I've learned in the past 8 weeks in this course, is that there is a huge difference between hearing, which are words just being spoken, and actually listening. And I also want to read this of what Burley Allen and them state. They say, when we think about listening, we tend to assume it is basically the same as hearing. Whoa. This is a dangerous misconception because it leads us to believe effective listening is instinctive. As a result, we make little effort to learn or develop listening skills and unknowingly neglect vital communication function, thereby denying ourselves education development and increased self-awareness. Now that listening has been defined, again I want to go over of my barriers to listening, which are found on slide 8. Again, these barriers to listening are: I try to fix the problem, not decoding the meaning, and speak before that I'm thinking. Now, my first barrier is that I want to fix the problem. Okay, well, fixing the problem and decoding the meaning are kind of in the same form with me. Fixing the problem, it seems that in a lot of my close relationships when someone's talking, one, I'm constantly thinking of what I'm going to say next to solve their solution or to solve their issue. And what happens is that it becomes a barrier to actually the reality of me taking in the information that I need to receive. With this being said, I'm not decoding, I'm not understanding, I'm not comprehending of what's being said to me because I'm constantly thinking ahead of what needs to be said to fix the solution or to the problem. Number three, third barrier for me is speak before thinking. So many times I actually interrupt the person because, one, again, me thinking that I want to speak, what generally happens is because I'm constantly thinking of what I want to say, I don't want to lose that thought. So while they're speaking to me, I'm not really listening to what they're saying because I want to hurry up and get out what I want to say, because if I don't, I'm going to forget it. But what happens is it jeopardizes my communication with the relationships that I have. As a matter of fact, throughout my past, people have said that I've been judgmental, that I've been critical, and at times rude because I'm jumping the gun of speaking before I'm thinking, especially if I'm in type of a debate or a dialogue or a heated conversation with someone. So knowing that I have these barriers to affect my listening skills, I've come up with an action plan. If you look on slide 9, and these are the 3 actions that I plan on taking to achieve my life goal of listening better. This listening action plan is learn not to own the problem, ask more precise questions, and think before I speak. Okay, so when it comes to not owning the problem, what I can do is I can provide safety by understanding and asking questions to clarifying of what the person is saying without agreeing or disagreeing. I can also give advice to a certain extent, but not be biased and taking sides. They may feel comfortable with me. Also, by listening and not owning the problem, I need to work on not defending them or me or their opinions or my own opinions, but just to move forward on as well. And asking more precise questions. A lot of times, if I'm actually listening, then I would be able to ask appropriate questions and be able to decode what they're trying to convey to me, and not try to figure out a solution right then, right there. I think before I speak, the action I was going to develop is by taking a deep breath. What that does and what that allows me, breathing, what I've learned the last couple of weeks, what it allows me to do, it relieves pressure in my stomach. Actually, I took this idea from the Peterson book. It relieves pressure from my stomach. And when it relieves pressure in my stomach, after I've taken that gulp of air, even if it's just a couple of seconds, it allows my filter in my head to think before I speak and what I'm going to say. So basically, what it boils down to, with all this being said, is it important for me, if you look at slide 10, it's important for me to understand exactly what is listening and how you define it. It's important that once I recognize my barriers and what they are, then I can apply all the skills that I've learned in this communication class, but most importantly, of how I can take my own action plan and apply it into my own life. Thank you very much.